criticized the FBI's handling of this Petraeus investigation. Mr. Chairman, welcome back to the program. I want to get your thoughts on this because I know you believe that this is a major crisis. Why?
Megan, I really do. And I'm also on the Intelligence Committee, so I'm looking forward to that meeting on Thursday with the other actors involved here. But no, as far as why I believe the whole thing was handled wrong by the FBI, first of all, to have something like this, a cyber harassment case, rise to the level of an FBI investigation. Then, when it did reach the CIA director, to have the FBI investigate the director of the CIA and the president and or the attorney general not being notified of it, to me, was a dereliction of duty. General Petraeus was a key component of the president's foreign policy team. The president, if he was not told, should have been told, and that, to me, was somebody really dropping the ball. And here's the other thing which makes the whole thing implausible, though, is you have a 4, 5, 6 month investigation, whatever it was, nothing comes out, nothing's disclosed, and then suddenly on election night, the FBI announces the investigation is over and they tell General Clapper. The next day, the White House finds out about it. The next day, General Petraeus submits his resignation. Friday, the president accepts the resignation. Then we find yesterday the FBI raiding the home of Paula Broadwell. Then we find out General Allen has been involved in emails with Jill Kelly. So you have like 4 or 5 different events happening in the last 7 days, when for the prior 5 or 6 months, nothing happened publicly.
Okay, but let me jump in. Let me jump in because there's so many names and so much, debauchery. And I think that the viewers may be confused. The top line item here is that the general admits, General Petraeus, the head of our CIA, admits to having this affair with now the woman we know was his biographer. But now there are questions about who in the administration knew. And can you explain to the viewers who are sitting at home thinking this man is a decorated war hero, he's responsible for the architecture of the successful surge in Iraq, which saved a lot of lives, why they need to care about his marital indiscretion?
As head of the CIA, it's always felt that someone in a spy position or espionage position is vulnerable to blackmail if they're having an affair, any kind of sexual involvement at all. And that has been really, I guess, accepted throughout the decades, that a person in that position cannot allow himself to be subject to blackmail, and that would have been a possibility with General Petraeus.
So, okay, so let me stop you there because we'll go through it bit by bit. So isn't it possible that the FBI, that they started investigating this because some woman named Jill Kelly down in Florida contacted her FBI friend reportedly and said, hey, I'm getting harassing emails from this woman. It turns out to be Broadwell. The FBI starts to look into it because they're friends with this Kelly, and they find Paula Broadwell's emails, and they find out, it turns out she's having an affair with the CIA director, which raises a whole host of other questions. Now, when they find that out, isn't it possible they say, all right, it's not good, but it's Petraeus's private business. It's an affair he shouldn't have had. We'll tell somebody, but we don't have to bring it to a White House level.
Yeah, I strongly disagree with that, Megan. I believe that the director of the FBI, knowing how essential General Petraeus was to the president, the fact that General Petraeus was, throughout the last several months, going around the world, literally negotiating special arrangements with other countries that he had unique relationships with. He was representing the U.S. It could have put us in a very vulnerable position if any of those people out there had learned of this, of his indiscretions, if you will. And so the president should have known, and the president should have made the final decision. Do I want this person out representing our country under these circumstances?
Right. And
that, to me, it's important for the president.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for waiting and listening to that. I want to get your reaction. Let's just start off with this question. He was asked whether the White House knew. What was the knowledge at the White House with respect to the Petraeus affair? When did he know? And this is how Jay Carney spoke to that issue.
Well, I would refer you to the FBI. They have, as I understand it, protocols in place for when they notify the legislative and executive branches of investigations. And it is simply a fact that the White House was not aware of the situation regarding General Petraeus until Wednesday, and the situation regarding General Allen until Friday. So, the FBI is the place to go in terms of an explanation of the protocols they follow. But I understand that is the answer that they will give, that there are protocols they follow that govern how they inform the various branches of government of these kinds of investigations.
Your thoughts on that, Mr. Chairman?
First of all, as far as informing Congress, Leon Panetta, the Secretary of Defense, who was the CIA director, says that Congress should have been informed. That's number one. As far as the White House, you know, the FBI may say they have protocols as far as guilt or innocence, as far as a criminal investigation. Here we're talking about a foreign policy leader, General Petraeus. The president, as commander-in-chief, has to know if someone, an integral part of his team, if that person is under a cloud, is being investigated in a way that could compromise his performance as CIA director. That should trump everything. We're not talking about revealing any secrets of General Petraeus. We're talking about the president knowing, being told that a member of his team has potentially could be compromised and is within the scope of a major investigation. So I don't accept that at all. The FBI should have told them, and that should be the policy. And we'll find out if whether or not anyone in the White House had in fact been told or should have known.
The Wall Street Journal, which is owned by the same parent company as Fox News Channel,
right,
is reporting that Attorney General Eric Holder knew in September, that at least the Attorney General of the United States had the information about Petraeus in September, and yet it was not supposedly shared with the White House, with the president, until last Wednesday. Do you find that plausible or acceptable?
I don't find it plausible. It's possible, and if that's the way it was done, it was wrong. It was improper. I can't believe that a sitting cabinet member, a close advisor of the president, would allow the president to be sending General Petraeus around the world on these high-level, top-secret missions, knowing that this was hanging over General Petraeus' head. That, again, should trump everything. The president's main job is to be commander-in-chief, and this was important for him to know. He could then decide whether or not he wanted to keep General Petraeus on the team, keep sending him on these missions.
Need a quick answer. Does Petraeus need to testify before Congress about Libya?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for being here. We'll see whether it happens. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Megan.